Have you learned any business lessons that you can talk about?
Yeah. Hire slow and fire fast. When you know you've made a mistake with someone you've hired, well, not know, but your gut will tell you. And a lot of times you'll convince yourselves otherwise. I think that you have to listen to that. So first and foremost, hire slow. Don't be in a rush to hire someone and just put a bum in a seat. Take your time, find the right person, right people. But when you have made a mistake, you'll know it and act fast, because culture will always beat strategy. You cannot execute strategy without a good culture, and it's about people. Our product, WALKAWAY, is about people, and companies are about people. Your strongest asset does not appear on your balance sheet, and it's your people. So number one, that would be my first. Number two.
Culture, I love it. Culture will be, I wrote it down. Culture will beat strategy. And, you know, that doesn't sound cold to me. At first I thought, hire slow. Well, that makes sense. Don't make a rash decision. Make sure you get the right person in the position. Make sure that they're adding, not just can they do the job, but adding properly to the spirit of the culture, et cetera. But at first I thought, well, God, that could be interpreted as a little cold, rip the Band-Aid off fast if you're not feeling it with the person. But it reminds me when I was a new sales manager of a salesperson in my dealership that I really liked a lot, and he was not performing. So eventually, probably 4 or 5 months beyond when I should have really done something, I sat him down and I said, we just have to part. I'm really sorry. I love you, Ron. He goes, I've been waiting for this for 3 or 4 months. You know, I don't know what took you so long. But I actually subscribed to the fire fast because what I learned was he went off and started a commercial cleaning business, going into businesses and cleaning them at night. As a matter of fact, he got our dealership as a client. He ended up probably 5 or 6xing his income. He was on the golf course 4 or 5 days a week because he didn't work till nighttime. I bumped into him on that golf course, and he thanked me, not facetiously because we liked each other. He thanked me for letting him go because he would have never made the move on his own. And what I realize is keeping someone in a position, forget about your own reasonable profit motives, because if there's not profit, you can't help more people. You can't hire more people. You can't help more clients. So profit's important. But when you keep somebody in a position where they're not successful, you're really not doing anything for their psyche, because this fellow had to be feeling terrible every day when he got up and feeling a little bit like a failure. And in short order, he's on the golf course all the time, making fabulous money and giving his wife and family what he'd, to feel more like a man, he should give them, et cetera. So it's not doing anyone a favor hanging on to them if they're not doing it for themselves, for their own feeling of success.
Yeah, a lot of people who hire, especially in a startup business, I'm the guy, or it's a fairly tight knit, and you make hiring decisions. You don't want to say to yourself you're wrong. I was wrong on that. So you make excuses for people. And as soon as you start making excuses for people, that's time to let them go. For entrepreneurs that are out there that are, building a team, you're going to make a mistake, and don't beat yourself up about it. As soon as you start making excuses. And, in Canada, we've got, a lot of different severance laws and whatnot. And you learn. You write the check, you pay them out, and away you go. And move on. You're way better. Your organization is way better, by doing that than it is hanging on to, a poor fit or someone who's not doing the job. And yep, you made a mistake. It's your fault. Take the lumps and move on. So that's number one. Hire slow, fire fast. Again, this is a lesson as an entrepreneur. You have to be, as an entrepreneur, you have to be good with someone doing the job differently than you would have done it. And you have to be open to the way in which they're doing it is better than the way in which you would have done it. If you're not open to those two things, you might as well not start, because you can't scale your business without people, and they're going to be doing something different. And if you want them to do it the way that you wanted to do it, then you better fucking do it. And if you're going to do it and micromanage them, then you know what? They're not going to stick around. So you have to be okay with someone doing a job poorer than you would have done it. You have to be okay with that, because they're not going to have the same passion and motivation and everything that you bring to the table as an entrepreneur and the person that created it. So if you're not open to that, then you're not going to be able to attract talent. You're not going to be able to give them autonomy. And if you are the ubiquitous control freak entrepreneur, which there are too many of, but if you're that person, that's going to be tough. So be open to people doing the job differently than you would have done it, but also be open to the way in which they do it to be better than how you saw it to do it, right? So that's number 2. Number 3, replace thyself. I said to a contractor one day, I said, as a good contractor, you should work yourself out of a job. If you are a contractor and you create reliance, if I have to rely on you permanently, you're not the right person for the job. And that holds true for a CEO and entrepreneur. Your last job, your first job and your last job is to replace thyself. It is highly irregular for the entrepreneur to be able to go all the way through, the 22 years that we've been in business without replacing yourself. And, I've replaced myself a couple of times. I have a partner, Robert Varga, who is now president and CEO of our operations company, Insurance Insight Incorporated, which is a registered insurance brokerage here in the Toronto region. And Robert's created, massive gains in the company as it relates to culture, team, and those types of things. I'm not that guy, and Rob is, and I had to replace myself with Rob, and I have to be able to put my trust in that. So those are the 3, I think those were the 3 big lessons that I've learned and looking back. And I think that they apply for anyone and everyone who starts their own business. And I think that, that would apply to Jack Welch or anyone else, a big CEO. If a company can't run without you, then you've not done your job.
Jack Welch from Alec Baldwin's Idol in 30 Rock.
There you go.
This has been Jeff Stearns, Connected Through Cars.